This has been such a fun week. I'm here with the 2022 Hyundai Kona N, and it may not look like it, but this thing is a firecracker. It's a riot. It's so much fun to drive. Of all the cars that we've had in the last several years, this has honestly been one of my favorites. I had the Honda Civic Si recently, and I adore that car for many, many reasons. And while that felt reasonably spicy, this is here and it's here to party all the time. And it's fun. It's so great whether it's in just your normal mode or sport mode, or its cool N mode, or you're using its NGS button, the N grin shift button, which adds, 10 horsepower for 20 seconds. It's just a riot. This is a hilarious car. It kind of looks hilarious. It kind of looks kind of cool. Like, I love how, as opposed to the regular Kona, you have, your painted wheel well arches there and this cool color. You've got the red accents, like unique lights and everything. And so anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if you can only have like one car, this Hyundai Kona N is one of the best solutions to that problem. Like, it's pretty spacious, it's very comfortable, it's pretty economical, it's reasonably priced, maybe just on a little bit on the pricey side, makes a ton of power. It's a hatch, you can put the back seats down, lots of space in there, Apple CarPlay, cool and configurable modes. Anyway, at the end of the day, if you're looking for something that's unique and hilariously fun to drive, that's not going to break the bank, well, maybe when you have to replace the front tires because they're always spinning with all that torque steer. If that's what you're looking for, you're going to be super happy with this. So let me take you for a drive. I'll show you the interior, the exterior, and let you decide for yourselves if this is going to be worth your $36,000. All right, so I've got Finn here with me, and he's going to show you some of our favorite parts of the exterior of the 2022 Hyundai Kona N. All right, I'm here with Finn, and he's going to show you some of his favorite parts of the Kona N. What's first, buddy?
So I do like the red line on the bottom of this car.
Very cool.
And over here,
cool
I really
lights.
like these red brakes, but I can't tell if it's dark red or light red because it's kind of dirty.
It's kind of dirty, yeah.
But let's check on this one back here. This one looks a little bit more clean, so I think that's light red. Then we got the N here that we really like. So
here's that awesome steering wheel, which feels really good, by the way. I love it. You've got your two N buttons. This one changes your drive modes. This one puts you into N mode. And here's your NGS, the N grin shift button. So starting it up, you just have your digital gauge cluster there. You press the button. And there it is. We're in normal mode right now. And let's see if you can hear it when I put it into sport mode even. Pretty awesome change there. And then you also have your snow mode, eco mode, normal, back to sport. And then if you really want to go crazy, you press your N mode button. And that is a nice, cool, bold display, which displays all sorts of cool things. It's very configurable. That puts you in N mode, and you can also press it again, and it puts you into your custom mode, which is reflected here, or swipe over, and as you go into your, there it is, N mode, has a cool graphics, lots of cool things. It has preloaded circuit maps, like racetrack maps. I don't know how helpful that's going to be, but pretty cool regardless. This is all very customizable, as is this. I'm not going to spend the time to go through that, but I will show you that. Check this out. So in your custom mode, you can customize like everything about this. And as you can see, I've got it pretty well dialed up on most things but the suspension. But I will say, even in N mode, I don't think the suspension is too rough or too harsh. But I do have it in normal just because it's the cushiest. But everything else is awesome. And that sport mode is sport plus mode, I guess I should say, for the exhaust, is super cool. And so you can just, there it is, normal, sport plus. I don't notice a huge difference between sport and sport plus, but there it is. Another cool thing is your launch control, which isn't going to be active right now, but because we're obviously not driving. but it is a lot of fun. All right, Finn, show us the back here. Good job. Lift up on it a little bit. And as you can see, there's a good deal amount of storage. I mean, it's not huge. This is a small car, but
Is there a bag in there?
it's the tire mobility kit for your flat. And then there's no spare, but you can maybe fit, I don't know, some treats under there. With the back seats folded down, there's a lot of space, as you can imagine, but overall, pretty practical, guys. Okay, I'll show you how much room I have sitting behind myself, 5'9", 30-inch inseam. You can probably tell that there's not a ton of room. I have like maybe, you know, an inch or two. And so if I was any taller, you know, it might be a pretty tight fit for adults back here. But let's get Finn back here and see how he fits. All right, so here's Finn. And he's not in his booster, but just for example purposes, how do you...
I don't have much leg room at all.
Yeah, not a lot of leg
Less than
room.
1 inch forward.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like
Well, you've got a little bit there, but
yeah,
you know,
when
for
my
kids,
feet was right here,
yeah.
just make my legs
Yeah.
push this back.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's not the most spacious place, but you know, it'll do. And I think with small children like Finn and his sister, it's definitely, you know, more than adequate. Definitely more than the BRZ, right, Finn? All right, so starting off in the 2022 Hyundai Kona N. Let's see how it does. All right, so just some general thoughts of my week of driving the Hyundai Kona N. Let me just first say that, you know, after driving this and the Honda Civic Si and the Toyota GR86 recently, it's a good time to be a car enthusiast. I mean, that is so cool. It's just a good time to be a good car enthusiast. These are fun, fun, fun cars. And I'll admit, when this Kona showed up in my driveway, I thought, what the heck is this thing? It just looks funky. It doesn't really look like anything else on the road. You know, it's technically a compact or subcompact crossover. I mean, it is, you do sit up a little higher. It is lifted a little bit. You have a little extra ground clearance, but this just feels like a hot hatch to me. And, you know, no all-wheel drive here, which you can get on the standard Kona. This is just front wheel. And there's a lot of torque steer, which is actually kind of hilarious and a lot of fun. And I'll pop it over into sport mode here by pressing this little blue button on the... And it immediately changes the exhaust. The exhaust is amazing on this thing, Hyundai. And it was great on the Veloster. And then that torque steer, it's crazy. It seriously, like, it will rip around. I mean, it's more extreme than the old Mazda Speed 3s. And that's saying something, 'cause that was a lot of torque steer. But, you know, like, if people complain, torque steer, and the Civic Type R is famous for having very, very little, if any at all. And this has quite a bit, but it's just hilarious. Like, it just kind of adds to, like, the fun, wacky experience that this car is. In a great way. Like, I don't mean that negative at all. I think $36,000, you're getting one of the most fun, unique cars you can buy. And this is probably one of the best answers to the if I could only have one car problem. If it could only have one car, this thing does it all. Another little acceleration here. Let's see if you can hear that exhaust and its crackles and pops. It's so fast. Woo! So it's like just shy of 290 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque, if I'm remembering correctly. Either way, it's almost up to 300 for both of those. And with a front-wheel drive car, woo, it corners so well. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. For a front-wheel drive car, I'm really impressed. This is like so much fun, and it handles really, really well. Like, I mean, you get a little body roll, but it stays very planted, and that's probably, you know, a lot due to these amazing Pirelli P0 tires. Here's another tight. You can just, like, seriously throw it like sharply into corners. You okay back there, Finn?
Yeah.
And it just does it. It just does it. No hesitation. Like and it kind of like defies like what you think it's gonna do. Like this thing's kind of taller. It's gonna be kind of roly-poly. And I'm not saying it's perfectly flat, but jeez, for daily driving, this is a heck of a lot of fun. Again, like just as a one car solution, this is excellent. You've got lots of storage in the back. Not lots, but you've got definitely very adequate storage in the back. The back seat is not bad at all. What's cool are these drive modes. So just some real highlights of this car is, you know, when you want to just like lounge around and just drive like a normal car, put it into normal mode and that's exactly what you get. Just feels like a slightly sporty, you know, regular Kona. I put it into sport mode, or even this really like sporty, like almost like a sport sharp, if you know, coming from like an STI. This N mode, which is the right blue button on the steering wheel. This thing is just a total firecracker. And especially with this NGS, the N grin shift button, which adds 10 horsepower for 20 seconds. And it's just hilarious. It's just so much fun. I just love cars that just make you giggle and that just seem so crazy. Like you look at this thing and it sounds loud. And when I showed it to my dad, he's like, so does the bite match the bark? And I took him for a ride in it and he was blown away. I mean, it does. Like the sound's really cool, but it it definitely has the bark to, or the bite to match the bark. So a couple other things about this, and I'll show you on this bumpy road, is the adjustable dampers. You know, the suspension switches it up depending on what mode you're in, and it does a really nice job. You know, I'm in N mode here, and I actually think, you know, some people have said this is overly stiff in N mode or even sport mode, but I think it feels pretty good. And if I'm being totally honest, I think it still rides maybe even a little better in N mode than my Mazda 3 Turbo does on some bumps. On some bumps, that Mazda 3 really, you feel it in your spine. And like my old STI was like more stiff and bouncy, but they've done a really good job with the suspension. We've done a really good job with the handling, like across the board with the Kona N Hyundai, or the Elantra N, the Veloster N. Hyundai is just doing a great job. And the thing that's really cool is that on this powertrain, I mean, some might be stressed that it's, and I'm in the stiffest mode here in this N over this crazy bumpy road, and not bad. Like seriously, not bad at all. Like I feel fine. Like it's not punishing. It's definitely stiff, but it's not punishing. Whoa. It's so outrageous. I do wish it was all-wheel drive. I just need to say that. I think the torque steer is hilarious and it's fun, but at the end of the day, like, if I'm daily driving this through all 4 seasons, you know, put some snow tires, as crazy as that would be on this thing, it'd be really nice to have that all-wheel drive. So, anyway, I would definitely wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, because as we all know, snow tires make the biggest difference. But, oh my gosh, that torque steer. You're just going to burn through your front tires so fast. So you definitely need to plan on that. The brakes have tons of bite. This has launch control, which is really fun. And, okay, another thing too is that it's pretty economical. It doesn't get as amazing gas mileage, but in my week of driving, let's see here, I've averaged just about 25 miles to the gallon, and that's driving it pretty hard. And but today, like on my commute home, I just took it nice and casual, left it in comfort mode, nothing crazy, no hard acceleration, and I got 34 miles to the gallon, and that's a 26-mile commute. So, you know, it can be pretty economical, and these seats are so good. Like, they're not too tight. They're not like the Recaros and the Focus RS or anything, and I think that they're excellent seats. I really like them. Even my dad, who's a bigger guy, was in here, and he really liked them too. They were a little tight on him, but I think they're just about perfect. The seating position's nice. I mean, it is nice to sit up just slightly higher than you do probably in the Veloster and the Elantra. The transmission is excellent. It's quick. Feels like it just does a great job. Like, it downshifts exactly when you would hope it would, and it compares with the exhaust in some really wonderful ways. So overall, I really don't have hardly any complaints about this car. Like, I mean, the styling is maybe it's unique, right? Like, I wouldn't say it's beautiful, but it's definitely unique. So if you're looking for something unique out there, like nobody else, I have not seen a Kona N at all, period. Like, and I know that everything's in short supply and all that, but still, like, I haven't seen any. So you're gonna have something really unique that like really nobody else has. The styling is pretty cool. The interior is pretty Spartan. I mean, there's a lot of, this is, you know, they obviously spent their money on the fun stuff and the, you know, the plastics, and it's not great, but at least you get some great seats. The infotainment is awesome. You've got your end screen that, you know, is endlessly customizable. You can, there's your house. You can customize the center screens, you know, here for the digital gauge cluster to show you tons of information. It's so, like, you know, as long as you don't really care about the plastics inside and it's kind of funky, quirky styling and potentially having to replace front tires a lot, I think the Kona N is pretty awesome. And I think it's got to be one of the more underrated entries. Like, everybody, I do want to mention this, and I haven't driven it yet, so, you know, KSL, who I write reviews for some reason wasn't invited to the GR Corolla launch. Whatever, it's fine, even though it was here in Utah. I don't know. But everybody's talking about the GR Corolla. I haven't driven it yet. I've heard it's excellent. I have no doubt that it's excellent. But it's going to be a nightmare trying to get one of those things. And I'm sure it's not easy to get one of these either. I haven't really looked into how it would be to get one of these, to be honest with you. That said, though, this is a fantastic alternative. Like, if you're really just, I want a GR Corolla, whatever, and maybe you still get one, but maybe in the meantime, like, go, if you can, go get yourself one of these. Like, I think you're really, really gonna like it, and it's a blast. Like, my wife loves this car. Of all the cars that we've driven in the last, you know, year or more, this has been one of our favorites. And I just think that across the board, Hyundai and Kia, for that matter, are doing really, really great and excellent things. That, I mean, we own a Kia Telluride. It's an exceptional value. I think that this is a pretty great value, $36,000. So let me just say a couple other things too. Like, if you're growing out of, if your kids like mine are growing out of like the BRZ GR86, and that's like your main car, I think this is an excellent, you know, I think this is an excellent alternative to maybe like a pure sports car. It's just so, you're going to be laughing. And when you don't want to be laughing and you just want to take it chill, you can. And there's those drive modes make a huge difference. And so for $36,000, I think it's money well spent. I do wish, again, it was all-wheel drive, but the performance is really, really good. And I think you're going to be just super happy. I've loved my time with it, and for the money, it's tough to find a car that's more fun than this. So, guys, until next time, thanks so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this. I'd love to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and that'd be just so cool. That'd be so cool. So thanks for doing that, and we'll talk to you later.